grab your big book, your pen, your highlighter, and notepad and get ready to hear and apply some of the solution from the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous through the experience, strength, and hope of Nikki M. To have a question addressed in a future episode of Noodle It Out with Nikki, please send an email to noodlewithnikki@gmail.com, and Nikki is spelled with 2 Ks. To get a more interactive experience with Nikki as she noodles out life and recovery questions using the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous, you can get a link to her weekly Noodle It Out with Nikki meeting held live on Zoom every Monday morning at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. The information to that meeting is in the show notes of this podcast. God morning, God afternoon, and God evening to all. My name is Justin B., and I'm a son of an all-powerful and perfectly loving God and a qualifying addict of multiple fellowships living in the miracle of recovery. And I'm here with the intelligent agent, spearhead of God's ever-advancing creation, and my co-host, Nikki M. Nikki, take a minute and tell us a little bit about what's going on in your life.
Hi, everybody. I'm Nikki M., and I'm an intelligent agent spearhead, and I'm a grateful member of many programs. There's 300 fellowships, and I'm a member of quite a few, or qualify for at least almost all of them. And I'm really grateful to be at the table here today with my brother, Justin. And I do mean chosen family brother. As Justin, you were praying us in today, I just got choked up thinking about like how you just thank God for bringing us together today. And what's happening now is it's the day after Christmas. In Canada, it's called Boxing Day. And, many of you guys know that the man I love lives in another country. And after 5 years, he's made it to Canada, and we're in the middle of a snowstorm. So it's just the most exciting time in this moment to be alive. Talk to me later when I'm out of my mind. But right now, I'm just really filled with gratitude, Justin.
Love it. Nikki, grateful to have you here. Everybody, this will post, I think this episode will post after the new year or right around it. So happy new year to everybody. Grateful to have you as part of the RICO 12 family. And, we've got several resources here, different podcasts, different meetings. Come join us wherever we are. Look us up at rico12.com and learn more about what we got going here. And as we close out this 2025 and jump into 2026, we step forward with trust that our higher power has us and will carry us forward into doing great things as we strive to be in our higher power's service. All right, so what we do in the Noodle It Out with Nikki podcast, if you're new here, is we take a question that we have either in our own lives, in the Noodle chat, in emails. You can send an email to noodlewithnikki@gmail.com, and we'll get those questions. But we've got a question today that I pulled out of the Noodle chat, and I'm going to ask it, and then we're going to go through the big book and find the answer, find the solution to the things that are killing us in our lives. So the question that I have today, Nikki, is this. I'm exhausted from all the recovery and sponsorship work that I do. Should I take a breather when business is booming out there to regain some energy, or should I keep burning myself out? What does the book say?
Wow, Justin, the book says a lot about this subject, about, being tired, exhausted, but people need help. And it's funny. I was like, when we were going to record it, I had so many things on my mind, but this is what I need to talk about because I'm exhausted. And you know what? This is the life I asked for. Like, I forgot. I was craving for my boyfriend to be here. And now I'm like, I forgot what it's like to be a domestic slave. Okay. And it's careful what you wish for, everybody out there. Because if you work a 12-step program, and I do mean all 12 steps, you will get the life you want. God knows our hearts. So let's start here about, what do you do when business is booming, whether it's in the rooms, outside of the rooms? Justin, you have children, you have new grandchildren, you have a wife, you have a community. I know you're exhausted, and I think all of us are. As Justin just wished us a happy 2026. Again, I think I said it a while ago, we got to buckle up because this is a really serious time. I think the planet, people are awakening. So what do you need to do? Well, number one, you need to remember page 85, that you only get a daily reprieve. Like, basically, that means you don't get a day off, everybody. That means when you make a decision, let's just go to the step 3 decision on page 63, everybody. See, I have not probably been I've actually, Justin, been a little spiritually sick because I don't know if I'm waking up, taking the time to do this as I'm sitting here quietly in the Noodle studio with you. I'm jumping up and making breakfast, and Mr. Luxembourg eats 12 eggs a day if possible. No yolks, okay? But he likes that kind of stuff. And so I don't know if I've took a sincere position. Does that sound about right? Person who asked the question, like, are you remembering every day to take a sincere position? And what does that mean, Nikki? I'm taking a sincere position to let God be the director of my life. And what does that mean? What's God, Nikki? That means I'm taking a sincere position for being responsible, being a responsible grown adult to direct my feet today. I'm taking a sincere position to be active and zealous. And actually, how about this? How about in my mind too? I'm making a decision to be loving and helpful and generous of spirit today. So I'm going to ask that person who said, I'm exhausted, but people need help. Well, I think if you make and take that sincere position every day, you really have to stop. And, this is why we do this stuff every day. Because now, Justin, I'm being reminded, Nikki, you haven't done this sincerely for about 8 days. Like, I have not really got up, really took the time like I normally do. You guys know I get up. It takes me about 3 hours just alone with God to get going. And I've spent about 3 minutes and my daughter's coming Monday. So I really need to buckle down, Justin, because she'll be here with her boyfriend. It's, holiday season. And I'm just running around forgetting about the sincere position I took to abandon my old thinking, to abandon my old lifestyle, to stop running around like a chicken with my head cut off and complaining. How about this? Let me go here, page 89. This is what I've been doing, Justin, and have you come in and we can noodle this out back and forth. But the question is, what do I do when I'm so tired and I'm helping everybody else and I'm completely drained? Well, here it says, I'm to cooperate. Page 89, the very last sentence says, cooperate. And I've been resistant. It says never criticize. I think that's all I've been doing every day is criticizing the man I love. And it says to be helpful is our only aim. Now, everybody out there in the universe listening to our podcast right now, to be helpful, Nikki, Justin, our family and friends, is the only aim. Now, here's the big caveat, especially, Justin, for a codependent. I'm helpful, Nikki. I'm helpful. Yeah, I'm supposed to give, not at the expense of you. Not at the, if you keep giving and you have nothing, the saying, Justin, it's like, if your own cup is empty, how will you fill up someone else's? So, that's the other thing. Are you taking time for yourself? Because page 87 says, we relax and take it easy. We do not struggle. I think that's page 86, 87. We relax. We take it easy. So there's a whole bunch of dancing that has to go on here. I got to wake up in the morning. I got to take that sincere position to know that I'm a servant of God, but I'm not a servant at the expense of myself. Because if I don't have, that God dope, that God will, that power inside of me, I'm useless. And my job is to be useful. Come in, Justin. Let me hear your thoughts on this.
Yeah, I love this. And I've been in a somewhat similar situation with my time with God in the morning. I typically take 1.5 to 2 hours every morning with God. And my availability to do that recently has been changed, and that either means I've got to get up an hour earlier, and I already get up at 4:40. I don't think getting up at 3:40 is going to help me at this point, but or I've got to make better use of that time I have and make sure that my that gas pump that I'm putting in, the God gas that's getting put into me, is coming in pretty fast and hard in the mornings, and focused, because like what you said, Nikki, if my aim is to be, what is it? Aim is to be useful. Is that what that is? Aim is to be helpful. The aim is to be helpful. And if I'm to be helpful, I need to have that God juice in me to do that. So what I'm doing is I'm still getting up at 4:40. I've got to be out the door by 5:30. So I only get about, after everything, 15, 20 minutes with God. And I've got to, well, I get that whole time with God, but I get focus time where I'm not doing anything else with God for 15 or 20 minutes rather than an hour and a half or so that I've been accustomed to. And I'm tired, but let me tell you, I feel that I receive enough to do what is put before me each day. Whereas sometimes when I spend all of that time with God, well, sometimes I feel like, oh, I'm exhausted at the end of the day. Right now I'm feeling energized, somewhat energized. I'm still tired, but what's your feedback or thoughts on that, Nikki?
Well, as you're saying that, Justin, I'm thinking about the gym. I think people like that scenario. I would use baseball because I know you love it, but let's go to the general public here, Justin. And it's like the gym. It's like you and I have been doing the workout every day, and we did it really, really good. Like you and I are very disciplined, and now it's like it's the World Series again. It's the Olympics, right? Because it's the holidays, and so everyone's here for us, or it's the busy time. But because we've been doing our discipline all through the year. So everybody, that's page 88 in your big book. If you're disciplined, see, I've been disciplined because Justin, I can tell you right now, and it's awful to say, but if I had not been working, and I work very hard in this 12-step program, I think Mr. Luxembourg not only would have never come here, but he would have turned around on the plane the next day. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because I've been doing the discipline, because I know what to do. I can bounce right back onto the beam if I fall off. It doesn't take me long to get back on. But imagine, everybody, you haven't been at the gym for 2 years. And now it's showtime. Now you want to be ready for your sister's wedding in that tight dress, Nikki. It's not going to happen in a week. You understand these people. I think that's what it is. It says work and self-sacrifice. And that's throughout my big book. I just put a line out after each sentence every day. So let's read these promises on the it's page 87, 88 here, where it says, as we go through the day. See, this is really important, people, because the question again was, let me just see. It was like, I'm tired, I'm exhausted, people need help. And this is what you and I, Justin, especially when we're in the throw of it. Like, I don't get my 3 hours in the hot tub and sauna right now. I don't even get in. I haven't been in but once. So I need to do this instruction. Throughout the day, I need to pause. And we can do that anywhere, everybody. When you're exhausted and the humans are eating your soul. My mom came down and asked, no question is stupid, but it was a silly question that I've answered 50 million times. And I didn't pause before I answered. I just said, you know the answer to that? And then I was like a smart ass, and I could see I made her feel bad, and I didn't need to go there. And so I have a live studio audience if anybody hears coughing in the background. And I have to pause because I was agitated. And what's the pause like when you're under pressure helping people, everybody? It's not a 3-hour pause and not an hour and a half pause like Justin and I get every morning before we have to face the human race. It could be a 5-minute pause in the car, Justin. It could be in the bathroom. Literally, I'm going to be graphic, everybody. While you're on the toilet, doing your business, that could be your time to pause with God. It could be this simple. Make yourself a cup of tea. Coffee drinkers, maybe a decaf, because that too can make you too agitated if you're going in for more coffee. That's a big thing. I want to tell you, to pause when you're agitated. because you're tired. I'm agitated. I'm tired. I've got restless, irritable, discontented. I've got the RID. I've got the restless, irritable, discontented that they're talking about in the doctor's opinion. And then it says I need to ask for the right thought. Now, I haven't done that. Do you see, everybody, why I need to be here with Justin today? Why I need to be doing work with other people? Because I'm not doing that. And how many times, Justin, have you and I read this sentence? How many times have you and I taught this? Too many?
A lot, a lot. But you know what? I need to learn it. I need to keep hearing it. And I'm
There
sure
we
others
go.
out
So
there do too.
that's right. So we keep doing it. So I need to ask for the right thought, which I have not been doing. The right thought is, Nikki, you've been waiting for Mr. Luxembourg to come here for 5 years, and all you've done is complained. And I need to remember. Then it says the right action. The right action is to serve this guy, whatever he wants right now, to be kind to my mom, to do all these things. Why? In 3 weeks, the house will be empty, Justin. And I'll be eating breakfast alone. And I would have forgotten how wonderful it is to run around and serve the man I love. You understand? It says we constantly, everybody means every day, remind yourself. See, I haven't been doing that, Justin. And I don't think I'm going to speak for both of us. I don't think in the last few weeks, we have constantly been reminding ourselves that we no longer run the show. And then the next word is humble. I didn't get humble. I put some peacock feathers on and started pumping my chest. Don't you know what I do? Don't you know who I am? Humbly saying to myself, here it is, Justin, many times, person who asked, I'm tired. The people need me. I can't do this. Are you humbly saying to yourself many times each day, thy will be done? And what's thy will? Well, everybody knows it. It's being forgiving, being content, trusting that God's plan is exactly as it should be in this moment. Getting honest. Nothing is missing, Nikki. You're complaining, yet everything is exactly as you asked for it, Nikki. Your thought life produced what's in front of you. Am I getting unselfish? Am I being active? Am I being tolerant? Tolerant. Am I being kind and loving and generous? Am I praising the good in the person in front of me, or am I criticizing him constantly? You see, it's all here for me. And so then it says, Nikki is in much less danger. See, if I do these things, if I pause and I ask for the right thought, and I remember that I took a sincere step 3 position, and I say many times that I've got to live in the fruits of the Spirit, then I'm in much less danger of being excited, screaming and yelling, because that's my favorite drug of choice this week. Fear. What's going to happen? Is he going to leave? What's going to happen? Are they going to like me? Are they going to accept me? Did I do that right? It's not good enough. I'm no good. I'm a piece of shit. Anger. Why do they do this? Look at me. How could you? Why me? But what's going to happen? Worry and self-pity. Remember what it says, everybody, page 62. Nikki and Justin are driven by 100 forms of fear, 100 forms of self-pity, 100 forms of self-seeking, and 100 forms of self-delusion. And then we step on the toes of everybody. I mean, this is not easy, this dance. And then it says, we become more efficient when I'm constantly asking, thy will be done. I don't tire so easily. There it is. You're getting tired so easily, and you're burning up energy foolishly, Nikki, running around, screaming and crying, the martyr, the manager, the manipulator, the mother, which leads to murder, she wrote. Come in, Justin.
You know, I love this. And as you were talking, I thought of another thing that my sponsor says to me sometimes. Because, you know, if I am complaining to him, you know, my daughter is doing this, my wife is doing that, my dog is doing this, whatever it is, and I say, I'm just trying to be helpful. He'll say, you know what? Just trying to be helpful is just the sunny side of manipulation. It depends on how I'm looking at that. And if I'm trying to manipulate, if I'm trying to control and make people do things the way that I want them to do, trying to be the director of their life, the play in their life, I'm wearing myself out. How does it say that on that page? Become much, we do not tire so easily, for we are not burning up energy foolishly as we did when we were trying to arrange life to suit ourselves. If I'm manipulating somebody and saying, I'm just trying to be helpful, man, I got to think about that. Our aim is to be helpful, but it's not to be helpful trying to get people to do things that I want them to do. It's to be helpful do what trying to trying to make it so that I am doing what I think God wants me to do, right? Does that make sense, Nikki?
It certainly does, because I can see as I'm talking about it, and thank God that you and I are in program so we can look back and see. We do a proper inventory. Here it is, everybody. It's page 67. We put out of our mind everyone else and we look at where we're at fault, where we're to blame. So that all makes sense because it's all me. It's all me. Like, remember, everybody, the big book on page 55 says that deep down inside, every man, woman, and child is the fundamental idea of God. So we're all little G's. We're all representing this power. It just looks different because of our meat suits. But if you took our meat suit away and you took all the religion away and you took all the colors away, everybody would be a light, a bright, shining light. I turned to page. There's also one more page I think I want to go to, and I'll have you come in here before we close out. But those of us, it's on page 130. See, this is it right here. Those of us, page 130, who have spent much time in the world of spiritual make-believe. That's fantasy. Like, I laid here fantasizing for 5 years what it would look like when my boyfriend returned to Canada. And it's nothing like I looked like. It's not my fantasy that I want. I mean, there's a pile of snow. He can't even come out of the house right now. Um, I've seen the childness of this. See, I'm not living in the now, Justin. Remember, the book says, may you find God now. And when we're running around burning up energy, it's probably because of the past and the future. But if you're in the now, not much is missing. And it says the dream world, this martyring world, this managing world, this I do too much, poor me, why me? It's been replaced by a great sense of purpose, accompanied by a growing consciousness of the power of God, universe creator in our lives. See, Justin and I have come to believe that this power would like us to keep our head in the clouds. And Justin, this is your line. I mean, you say it in a different way, but we are to keep our mind, our thought life, as above, so below, as within, so without. If you have chaos outside of your life, it's because there's chaos in your mind and soul. And so it says, God wants us to keep our feet in the head, our head in the clouds with him, but our feet ought to be firmly planted on the earth. Soldiers, we are to live in reality, keeping one foot in front of the other, doing the next right thing, because that is where our fellow travelers are. And this is where our work, it says work must be done. See, these are the realities for us. Go deeper. I know your wife did choose 12-step program, Justin, and thank God she did. But my boyfriend didn't. My mother didn't. My children are not in 12-step. But I chose it. And this is my reality. See, I have found nothing incompatible between a powerful spiritual experience / awakening every day and a life of sane and happy usefulness. Because I'm growing through this. I'm having more awakenings, and as I'm fussing and fighting with the man I love right now, I'm able to awaken, and thank God he has his own power and he can see it and forgive me and know that we're both working to do better and be better as people who love God. And I'm going to have you come in here, but on Noodle with Nikki, I hope you listen to this, Mr. Bill Swan, because you took us here the other day at my meeting. It's on page 568. And it says, most emphatically, we wish to say to any addict alcoholic capable of honestly facing their problems, and your problem person who wrote into us today, you're tired. You know people need help. Business is booming. We need to help the ones we love and those still dying inside and outside of the rooms. So when we honestly face our problems in the light of our experience, we're light, everybody. We are light with our experience, right? And we can, and we have recovered from that seemingly hopeless state of mind. We need to, and it says, provided we do not close our mind to all spiritual concepts, we can only be defeated by an attitude of intolerance or belligerent denial. See, if we're intolerant or we're in denial that we can do this some other way without pausing, without asking for the right thought, without doing this discipline every day, without staying buckled in to your God squad. Justin is on my God squad. I won't make it. You've reset my mind and heart with this podcast today, Justin. I know what I need to do when I leave here. I need to be patient. I need to pause. I need to not criticize. I need to relax and take it easy.
Hmm. Yeah, thank you, Nikki. And I've also needed this to reset and to, I'm going to use the phrase that I've used here before, get where my feet are. You know, so often I am fearful, I'm in fantasy, I am somewhere else in my mind because things aren't working out the way I think they should. I need to get where my feet are and accept that everything is exactly how it should be here on God's green earth at this moment. I'm not missing anything. I'm not lacking anything. And going back to the question here, you know, when I'm in that place, I'm not wearing myself out as much. Yes, I'm still working hard. I'm still doing what I believe God is guiding me to do. And I go to bed tired and satisfied every night that I've wore myself out trying to do what I think God is wanting me to do. But I can get up the next morning, tap into that God dope, and I will receive sufficient power and strength and energy for that day as I do that. So that's my take on that. Do you have any final thoughts before I wrap it up, Nikki?
I just think as you were saying that, Justin, is this, if you get serious about God, God will get serious about you. What does that mean, Nikki? If you get serious about being humble, humility will show up and make sure that happens for you. If you get serious about wanting to be better, do better, wanting this program, working all 12 steps wholeheartedly, enthusiastically. If you get serious, Nikki, about not complaining and not criticizing, taking it one day at a time and remembering everybody. Page 60, we are not saints. We grow along spiritual lines. It's progress, never perfection. So I'm just grateful for my life, Justin, and can't wait for 2026. Everyone, don't forget your seventh because we need to keep this podcast going. Business is booming. So if you're tired, well, you know what? Live in the big book with us because when you tap this power, don't you get a lot of energy, Justin?
I get enough for what I need. Exactly that. And some days it's a lot, and some days it's a little, but it's enough for what God wants me to do. Everybody, this is a good life to live. Jump in with both feet and continue to work it because you are worth it.